And Philadelphia has it.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to DSM pregame live, streaming to you guys exclusively on DSM Media's YouTube channel. If you're new to the channel, head on over on Twitter to @DSM_media. Hit that follow button. We greatly appreciate it. And while you're there, the easiest way to find us on YouTube is checking out the link tree in our bio to take you right to the DSM Media YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button, like this video, do whatever you got to do, but we greatly appreciate it. I am one half of your host here, Dylan Davis. You can find me on Twitter @DylanJD98. You can find my co-host here, Scotty, on Twitter @ScottyDrown. He just wrapped up a really good edition of Scotty Talks Sixers and Scotty Talks NBA here on DSM. Sixers, Hawks preview. Second of this, not back-to-back, but home and away, a little stretch here they have with the Atlanta Hawks, coming off of a 104-95 victory. I don't think that the 9-point loss really tells the story, Scotty, as our 76ers were trailing by 20 points midway through the fourth quarter, and the bench made a little bit of a rally late. But listen, man, you've talked on trending in the AM yesterday morning with Phil. You just wrapped up an edition of Scotty Talks. Talk to me here on the pregame show. What is going on with the Sixers? Let's start by recapping Thursday night's game against the Hawks before we get into everything within tonight's matchup. Well, what happened? What do we continue to see that negatively impacts this team?
Just lack of effort, lack of energy, lack of focus. I mean, just lacking across the board as far as your controllables, right? These are all things that the Sixers ultimately can control, and that's what makes it just so disappointing when you go out, you get the W on Monday against the Phoenix Suns, a top team in the NBA, right? A team that is
Best
at
team
the top of the Western Conference right now. And then you come out on Thursday, and it's not even like a Hawks were on fire that night, and it was just their night. They shot really bad. Both teams shot really bad, and it came down to effort. And I think, the 9-point finish, right? You talked about that, and it is misleading for what took place in this game, because throughout the game, you could kind of just see certain things playing out, like this feels like a loss. And then by the end of the third quarter, that came to life. They were down by 20 early on in the fourth quarter. But what it shows you, for them to get it down to 9, that bench unit to come in, once again, just points to effort. That means your starters are just not giving you the effort that you need, the focus that you need. And honestly, man, I'm looking. Obviously, you can go to Doc Rivers for this. This is always a leadership, a lack of energy, getting these guys inspired. But I look to Joel Embiid, man, and I'm really gonna pin the nail on him this season and holding him accountable as far as what this team does and them on a night-to-night basis. He comes out, he lacks energy, he's looking sloppy. Yeah, he put up 30 points, 13 rebounds in that game, but you turn the ball
26.
over 8 times. 26 points, so not even 30. Turn the ball over 8 times regardless.
5 fouls as well.
5 fouls, you're in and out of the game, but somehow you still turn the ball over 8 times. And what that does for me, and what that tells me whenever Embiid is just out here dribbling into 3 people down in the lane, or dribbles all the way down the court and charges after he gets a frustrating ball on the other end. Yeah, that is beyond annoying. But then on top of it, it allows others to feel like they can do dumb shit too. Like D'Anthony Melton throwing the ball on the side. Like, how do you turn the ball over? You're in the middle of a comeback as well, right? You're trying to keep this thing close in the third quarter. And he throws a
4-point game at halftime.
Throws the ball in, can't even get the ball in bounds, man. Like, and
sloppy, Scotty. Sloppy's the word.
The sad part for me, man, is I was watching it through an Atlanta broadcast at the time. For some reason, I was watching it online, and you hear them call us out for like things that we are constantly talking about, bro. Like, he called us out for the Embiid turnovers. He called us out for the looking lost on offense, not running sets, not running an inbounds play. He said the reason you have to – I remember it was Dominique Wilkins was on the broadcast. He said the reason they can't get the ball inbounds, he has to throw that pass on the sideline.
There's no set.
Line. There's no set being run. There's nobody that can get open. It's ridiculous, man. Obviously, that starts with coaching, but it also is a lack of focus, effort, and the want to do things right. It's just not good, man. But how are you feeling? I know I just went on a spiel.
Listen, man, effort is going to play, that word is going to play a major role in this show today.
Yeah.
Because like you mentioned, bad shooting nights are going to happen. The Sixers shot 39% from the floor. They were 6 of 30, 20% from beyond the arc, right? Those nights happen. I get it. But like you said, Atlanta did not shoot all that well. They shot 44% from the field, 6 of 26, 23% from three-point land. So where did things get so out of hand? Where did you go wrong? Okay, let's look at this. They got beat by 9 on the glass. They got beat on the offensive glass. They got beat in points in the paint. They got beat on second chance points, 15-4. Beat 14-10 in fast break points. Beat 19-14 on points off turnovers. Effort. That stuff, offensive rebounding, loose ball efficiency, points in the paint, points in transition, effort. And it's been the same problem, man. And early on in the year, I went back and forth with Phil here at DSM, and I felt like he was jumping the gun a little too early with the whole, this is the same thing we've been seeing before. And now I'm getting a little tired of it. I'm getting on board with that because it is the same things we've seen in the past from Doc, from Joel's energy-wise and mentality, with the offensive charges, with the 8 when are the turnovers going to stop? When are they going to stop, Scotty? It happened opening night in Boston. It was one of the major reasons they lost that game. And now it's happening again. And it's funny because if you go back to Thursday night, I predicted them to lose. Yeah. I thought they would lose the game. It matters sometimes how you lose a game and what happens within the game throughout that specific night. You didn't just lose. You continued to play with that same lack of energy and all the concerns that we've pointed out throughout the first 10, 11, 12 games of this season. And it looks like nothing's being fixed. We could talk about Tyrese Maxey not shooting the ball well. Like I said, he's in a shooting slump, I guess. Yeah. That's what we have to hope, right? He's going to shoot his way out of it. He needs to shoot his way out of it. Don't be shy. You're too talented. I heard you talking about it earlier. Too talented to be hesitant with the ball in your hands and not letting it fly if you're this kid. But like, it bothers me, man, when I got a young stud like Tyrese Maxey being hesitant. And I know we just praised him for his 7 for 10 performance, but then I got George Niang coming off the bench and just letting this shit fly time and time again. And he's just hitting the front of the rim. It's frustrating.
Your legs are dead. You know what I mean? Like, recognize that shot is not falling tonight, George. Like, you turned into a black hole.
Dude, when you're the 8th dude, man. Like, you're not a starter. You're not option 2 behind Joel, option 3. You're the 8th or 9th dude. Stop.
Yeah,
if you're feeling it early, feel it. Let it fly.
Yeah.
But when, like you said, when you're noticing 0 for 2, 0 for 3, I don't know. Maybe you look to do something else positive on the floor that night because your shot's not falling. And I don't just mean to call him out because everybody shot poorly.
Yeah.
But it sticks out when a guy like that comes in, and I don't even know. Let me see here. 1 for 7, Scotty.
Yeah. And also,
it's inexcusable.
You know, it's something with George. It's something with this whole team where, you know, it's one thing if me and you like text each other and complain about refs and certain calls, and if we get on Twitter and complain about refs, like, we're fans, we can do that. Even Doc Rivers, that's his job to you know, clamor at the refs and really get them to do the right thing. The players need to stop, man. I heard Maxey talking about
Especially
it after
when you
I read that article.
Lazy.
You play that lazy, and then you expect calls. And mind you, bro, they're getting more foul calls than the other team in a lot of these games.
Yes.
So, like, literally stop.
The other night, they dominated Phoenix
literally
from points on the free throw line. By the way, George Niang took the most 3-point attempts than anybody else on the team the other night. Tobias Harris was 0 for 4. Embiid was 0 for 3. Maxey was 2 for 6.
Tobias be killing me too, man. My God. Missing layups, dude. Like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, man. And sorry, anybody that took our best bet, apologies. But man, like, it should
he should have hit that like the second quarter or the third quarter, man. Like,
he was
just
2
missing
of 4
bunnies.
shooting to start the game. He finished with 12 points on 5 of 15. You pointed out the missed finger roll at the end of the first half, and then he missed a 3 after that.
And the problem with that is that's not just like a one-off occurrence, man. That's happening all the time with this guy. And I obviously like Tobias as a person. He's a good player when he's on, but there's just time. It's lack of focus, man. Like rather than a finger roll, dunk it, bro. Like you're like 6'8", my man.
I thought he was going to. I thought he was stuffing it, dude.
We could use an emphatic jam right there. Like,
why are we going
I don't
up
understand.
Weak? We're going up weak with no one around either. Like that's
Let me ask you this.
Negatives. A lot of negatives.
Let me ask you this, because this is something we talk about with like the Eagles and the NFL a lot. Identity. This team doesn't have an identity, man.
I'm very happy that you just brought this up because I had this conversation literally yesterday with somebody.
Yeah.
I watch this team, Scotty, and we talk about this on Turf Talk week in and week out with teams that are struggling and underachieving. The Packers, the Rams, the Bucks, all these good teams that are struggling. What are they trying to accomplish? What are they good at? I watch the Sixers team offensively, and I don't know what they're trying to accomplish. I don't know what they're good at. Like you pointed out numerous times, I don't know what sets they try to run. Everybody doesn't. It looks again like Brett Brown. Everybody's just standing around the 3-point line with Joel having the ball in his hands. And the craziest thing to me is like the 3-point shot is just not falling to start the year.
Yeah.
And I think that'll come around. But here's my problem. Not that we have snipers all across the board, but you have guys capable 38%, 39%, 40+% in Harris, Maxey, Tucker from the corner, Melton, House. You have guys, right?
Yeah.
So when you have an anchor that's 7-foot phenom on the block and he's drawing double and triple teams, you need to start to figure out how to get the ball out to these 40% 3-point shooters and let the offense flow that way.
Yeah.
Instead, it's so stagnant. I don't know what they're trying to do. And they have no identity offensively.
It needs to be quicker, right? Like everything he does is like it's just so it's like late. Like he gets the ball and you should already be looking. You see that double team coming. You need to be ready to get the ball out.
To come in and play
Instead, he'll do the 1 or 2 dribbles and lose the ball, and it just turns into a mess.
You know what I can't stand? I don't mean to hammer the best player on our team too much.
Yeah.
I can't stand back to the basket. Dribble, and I get it. If you're one-on-one, go for it. But back to the basket, and he tries to not go baseline. He tries to turn into the paint with the double and triple team collapsing, Scotty. And it's turnover city because he's 7'2", ball on the floor, left shoulder, turn in to go to the paint, bang, it's stripped going the other way. He does it all the time.
And he wasn't doing that last season.
You have to be aware.
You know what I mean? That's just not, it just shows you the attention to detail this season that's lacking. It is ridiculous. And you have to ask yourself, like, was Harden just masking like these flaws of the offense? Like the offense was not this bad when Harden was in, right? It was more or less the defensive, the effort and holding teams under a certain point. But I mean, the offense, we're averaging under 100 points without Harden in the 3 games that he hasn't played. And like you said, it's a bunch of guys. It's like guys are just running into each other on offense. They don't even know where to go. It's really crazy.
It is a lot of isolation basketball.
Yeah.
And with this team, it should not be that way.
Exactly. Exactly. It's okay for certain teams to go into isolation. You have the Boston Celtics with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, right? You have different guys out in the West, Steph Curry. You have Paul George on the Clippers. Like you have guys that can be those ISO ball players. We don't have guys like that right now, right?
No.
Embiid is that one guy, but he's not getting one-on-ones. He's getting one-on-twos, one-on-threes.
And he's your center to the point. He's not a guard. He's not a forward that can break you down from the top of the key and go to work. He's getting the ball in a confined area with guys collapsing around him. So it's not like James Harden. When Harden's healthy, there's going to be ISO ball played here and there.
Right.
I'm fine with ISO ball. Not almost every damn possession, dude. That's all it feels like. Off-ball movement, off-ball screens. And just to kind of wrap this up before we move into tonight's game, I told you effort was going to play a major role in tonight's show.
Yeah.
And here it is. So from my man Dibes over at TPL, at Mr. Crockpot on Twitter, go give him a follow. The Sixers' lack of effort is undeniable this season. And he's not the first person I've seen throw out these numbers, but here they are. Dead last in the NBA in contested shots. Second worst in cuts to the basket offensively. Fifth worst in points off of screens. Fifth worst in opponents' points in transition. Seventh worst in screen assist and loose balls recovered. I also saw a video, Scotty. If there is a loose ball when the Sixers are on offense, they are dead. They are not getting that loose ball. They are dead last in the NBA, and loose balls are covered on their end of the floor. What's that word again?
Effort.
Effort.
Lack
and that
thereof.
should not be a problem.
Shouldn't, man. Not at this stage, man.
With this head coach, with this center, with this team, should not continue to be a problem. And here we are, 12 games in, still a problem.
That can't be your main issue as a championship contender. You know what I mean? Like, that is the concern here. It's 12
you said
games.
the word earlier, controllable.
Exactly.
What can you control? You can control heart and effort and energy. And if that's the main thing holding you back, that is a major problem.
And what did we bring?
Things that you can control.
What did we bring PJ Tucker here for? It's like, it's one of those things where he's like falling into the void of the Sixers culture rather than imposing his own culture on this. Like, we thought it would be reversed, but he's actually just falling in line with
we
guys
thought
that
he would
don't
have an
show
impact
effort.
on the team. Instead, the team's having an impact on him.
Sadly enough. Same with D'Anthony Melton. My God, the dude plays really ridiculously good defense. He's a great defender, but the guy has lost his way on offense all of a sudden. He's just not efficient, not making good decisions. It's insane, man.
It's insane. Funny, is it not?
And
then you kind of, I just want to look at one more thing here.
Yeah.
Because it's something we pointed out. Like, again, man, the Paul Reed situation, the backup center situation continues to be one that is mind-boggling. Because I know it's when they were down 20. I know when the game was over, but Montrezl Harrell comes in, he gets 3 minutes, 8 points, 2 boards, 3 for 3 shooting, gives him some energy, leads that comeback a little bit, right?
Got an and one, yeah.
Paul Reed, he gets the nod early, 9 minutes, 0 points, 0 for 3 from the floor. Obviously took 2 threes when they were down a lot, 3 rebounds, and he picked up 3 fouls within like the first 35 seconds of him being on the floor, Scotty.
Yeah.
Something you and I talked about.
Yep.
I need. Where can this conversation even go at this point? Because I feel like you just have people that are either too far negative, which I guess you could lump me in on that side, and then you have the people that I continuously see on social media bang the drum for Paul Reed. And yes, I see the impact in a game against the Suns when he comes in and has 2 steals and a block within the first 2 minutes and a dunk. I see the energy and the defensive things he can do. I don't get the overall push for the kid, dude. Maybe I'm totally out of the loop and I'm missing something from a basketball perspective. The dude brings literally nothing offensively. He brings you 0 offensively. He's too out of control in terms of in position on defense and using his fouls. I know Doc told him, listen, man, you're going to get backup minutes. Use your fouls. You don't pick up 3 in 32 seconds, dude. Like, just putting guys on the free throw line, not
shows you're out of control, literally. Shows you're out of control.
So I guess my question is, how do you find the balance? Because trust me, I've seen the issues with Montrezl Harrell as well. I'm not beating the drum for Montrezl Harrell, but I also know the energy he can bring and the offense he can bring. And if you're asking me, over these last 3 or 4 games, what's been the bigger problem? Defense or offense off the bench? It's scoring.
Yeah.
So I know people are like, oh, well, Trez is going to get you killed. I get it, man. Well, Paul Reed's going to get you killed offensively. And right now, literally, you pointed out, they have not cracked 100 points in the last 3 games. So what seems to be the problem there, Scotty? Offense or defense?
With the Montrezl Harrell thing, I know we talked about this on the last pregame show, and it was kind of a confusing situation, from our standpoint. But that's the thing, Doc Rivers, right? You are the coach. You need to be able to read the room, understand which one of these guys will be more effective on any given night. For instance, this game specifically, Paul Reed comes in, like you said, first or midway through the first quarter, whatever, gets 3 fouls immediately. Get him out of the game and do not put him back in. You put Harrell in the next time you need to put a backup center. Like, if that's just alternate them, if nothing else, if you can't read which team is going to be better, then let's just go with who's playing better at the time. Because I guarantee you Montrezl Harrell's not coming in and getting 3 fouls.
What happened to the small ball he tried to run out without Embiid as well? When Embiid was missing games, you went small. It worked a little bit.
Yeah.
The 3-guard rotation worked a little bit.
Then they're running small ball against Clint Capella. You're running small ball against Clint Capella. We couldn't get a rebound.
But that's my point. That's my point. I don't mean to run small ball against Clint Capella, but as the head coach, you don't realize to pick your spots. Like, maybe
that's what I mean. Yeah, exactly.
Maybe don't run it against Clint, but if Clint's on the bench and John Collins is their big, or
exactly,
probably run it then. Yeah,
match them.
It's crazy to think. It's crazy to think, but.
It's crazy. Adjustments are beyond our conversation at this point because they won't be made. Like, it's
out of the realm
crazy.
of possibility here. But let's get into tonight's game against the same team, the Hawks, Scotty. So keys to victory. I think you're going to continue to see our theme of the show continue here. But what are some of your keys to victory tonight?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we could go the effort route. We're gonna hammer that until the end of this show, obviously. But some keys for me. You need better shooting from specifically Tobias Harris and Tyrese Maxey. Yep. Last game, 10 for 32 from the field, shot 31.3% from the field, shot 20% from the three-point line. And then on top of that, the other side of that, I guess you could say, is I need Embiid to start looking for his teammates. It's something I've been trying to hammer for Embiid. When you get the ball, start thinking, slow it down, first of all. You don't have to take a dribble as soon as you get the ball and make a move.
Analyze.
Jump shot. Slow down, look around, see which ways we can make this the easiest possession in the world for our team. And I think that's as simple as that. He needs to change his approach, Embiid. It's not when we get down and we need a bucket, you just have to go and hammer into 2 or 3 guys. No, you go and you have to make the right play in that right moment and get the bucket.
Possible.
Exactly. So need better shooting from Maxey, Tobias. The whole team needs to shoot better. But then Embiid, you being the star, you drawing the attention now, you need to change your approach in order to help your teammates. We saw him do this last year. That's why I know that it's in him. He just doesn't do it consistently. He's got to change the approach. But those would be my 2 keys to start out here.
So obviously, better shooting is needed. Under 40% from the field, 20% from the 3-point line. You're not gonna win a game if you shoot that way. So I agree with you. But it's not just shooting better. It is those 2 guys specifically. And I'll take it a step further to point out Tyrese Maxey. I know we hammered on we got on Tobias Harris a little bit, but Tyrese Maxey's on now like a 3 or 4 game stretch of poor shooting. So he needs to start to figure things out, specifically as that second option with Joel.
Absolutely.
Past that, here, Doc. Hold on. Everything you did last game, whatever the game plan was,
throw it out.
Throw it out.
Throw it out.
Throw it out. Reset. Hit the reset button. Because whatever you tried to do offensively, whatever you tried to do defensively, throw it the hell out. Yep. Rally the troops, Joel Embiid as well. Get the guys ready to play. Joel, basically the opposite of everything. The opposite. Joel Embiid making smart decisions, lack of turnovers, better for the team. Better looks from beyond the 3-point line other than George Niang chucking up 7 threes. Better decision for the team. Hustle, energy, loose balls, keeping Clint Capella and John Collins off the offensive glass. Transition defense. Everything you tried to do it a different way. Throw out that game plan because it did not work.
Yep.
And it's again, Scotty, how many times have we come on here and say It's really not rocket science.
It's not, man.
Really
that's
the
why
tiniest,
it's so frustrating.
It's the tiniest controllable things you could point out to tweak and fix for this team to put a better product on the floor. And it's like they refuse to do it.
Control the controllables. Stop worrying about the refs. Show effort. Show energy. That's the baseline of every game, right? That's what that should be the foundation of every time they come out here and play in front of the Sixers fans, in front of the opposing fans. There should be a baseline of effort, focus, and then you go from there, man. You go from there. You'll hit shots, you'll miss shots, whatever happens, happens. But if you start there, you're going to have a chance to win every single game with the amount of talent they have. They just do not do that.
Especially at home tonight, bro.
At home. Come on.
If this city
has
shown you anything, you play hard for them, we'll cheer hard for you.
Exactly.
We'll cheer harder for you.
Please don't get booed tonight.
You show up, and in the first quarter, you give up 34 points, and you're losing 34-23 at the end of the first, and Beach got the piss poor body language, and there's multiple turnovers already. And second is stop getting beat back down the floor after a make. How does that happen at this level? After a make, you're getting beat back down for an alley-oop. It's ridiculous. Play hard for the city, and the city will cheer harder for you. That is the bottom line. So tonight, Scotty, they have to start to dig their way out of this hole that they've dug themselves into right now.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it really is that logical, that simple.
It's kind of simple,
simplify
man.
everything. So, all right, let's move on. If we think of anything else, we'll kind of come back to it.
Yeah.
But let's transition into our goal of the game here. And what is that, Scotty? It's one and the same here, correct?
Yeah.
It is one.
We keep it going.
We are going to make this as basic, as generic, as simple as you could possibly imagine. Show some effing heart.
Yeah.
That is the goal of the game. That is all I'm asking for. Nothing numerical, nothing statistics, nothing. Show some goddamn heart. Play with energy on your home floor. And I promise you, if you do those things specifically on the defensive end, you will find a different outcome tonight. Because the shots will fall.
Exactly.
If you do the right thing on the opposite end of the floor.
Show some effort on defense.
Heart and effort.
Yeah. If you show the effort on defense, you play basketball the right way, the offense will come to you, man. That is like one of the most basic laws of basketball. Like, you defend, you play with effort, you play hard, and you'll get easy buckets out of that. Literally, you play hard on the defensive end, you'll turn them over, you'll get on fast breaks, right? You'll get easy buckets. That's how you get on the right path and on offense. And it starts with some heart. Which this team, they look like, what do you call it off the Wizard of Oz? The 10-man, or was it the lion that doesn't have his heart? Which one is it? The lion that doesn't have his heart, or is it the
cowardly lion doesn't have
the cowardly lion. That's what the Sixers are, man. They don't have any heart. It's ridiculous.
Or no. The Tin Man needs a heart. The lion needs some courage.
Courage. Okay. So the Tin Man just didn't have emotions, right? He didn't have any heart. Yeah. Well, they need both, right? They need courage and heart. So they got a little bit of both going on from the Wizard of Oz friends. The cowardly lion and the heartless Tin Man. Oh, my goodness.
And the brainless scarecrow of Doc Rivers.
The brainless scarecrow. God, we're hitting all of them. God damn. Oh, man. Goodness gracious. Man. Goal of the game. Show
down
some
the
heart,
yellow
man.
brick road.
Down the yellow brick road.
All right. Let's get into our best bet of the night. Now we have something interesting for you guys. So we have a best bet, and then we have a play for you. I don't want to give the play as the best bet because it's a number of things would need to happen. So I'll give the play first, Scotty, and then if you want to let out the best bet. The play here, it's on DraftKings. So if you opt into the build your own same game parlay boost, we have Joel Embiid over 25.5 points. So Joel Embiid for 26 plus points tonight. He did that the other night in a game where they looked horrible and the starters got pulled early. You would imagine that he's going to play a major role in them having the win tonight. Tobias Harris, 12 plus points. He did that the other night on horrifying shooting. Yeah. Tyrese Maxey, 15. That's it. 15 plus points for Tyrese Maxey.
Did that on a horrible shooting the other night.
He did. D'Anthony Melton, over 3.5 rebounds. So 4+ rebounds for D'Anthony Melton. I think he had 10 last game, 7 the game rebounds before. So he's very active on the glass. They're going to need that in order to keep Atlanta off the glass. And sticking with that trend, Joel Embiid over 8.5 rebounds. So not double digits. Just give me 9+ rebounds from the big fella. You boost that, it all equals up to plus 312.
I like it.
5 legs, Embiid 26, Tobias 12, Maxey 15, Melton 4 boards, Embiid 9 boards, plus 312 boosted on DraftKings. That is our play of the day. Scotty, what's our best bet of the night?
Best bet of the night for us today is going to be Tyrese Maxey, the very early odds of the day. 2.5 plus 3, so 3+ made threes in this game against the Atlanta Hawks at plus 100. It's actually plus 103 on FanDuel. If you have the FanDuel app, it's plus 100 on DraftKings. The reason we're going back to the well with Tyrese Maxey, right? And we're hoping that he can dig himself out of this hole. The 2.5 dropping down to plus 100. That's the first I've seen that in a few games. I would imagine because he is in the shooting slump. You get him returning home. You have a day off of rest, right? A day off to get your mind right, get your trends back right. He already talked about he's been overthinking, trying to get calls on the offensive end, trying to get fouls called. Step away from that. Just play your game tonight. Let the threes fly. Drive the lane first. He needs to start the game getting into the paint, get comfortable, make a few layups. Then you can expand out to the three-point line. I think he's been doing it backwards lately. He's been trying to start at the three-point line and then work his way in. Work your way out. I think Tyrese Maxey gets over 3 threes tonight. And I think that's going to be the best bet of the day at plus 100. Those were the best odds if you looked across like the 3-point marks for the day. So I'm rolling with Tyrese Maxey tonight from the 3-point line, 2.5 plus.
Yes, sir. So 3+ threes for Tyrese Maxey, plus 100. Basically even money plus money for you tonight. So lay that.
Yes, sir.
One thing I find interesting.
If I were you, I would lay both. But
one thing I find extremely interesting is how they continue to prop up the Anthony Melton on this sport.
2.5 threes.
The Anthony Melton stays at over under 2.5 threes, and he took 3 threes. He was 0 for 3 the other night. The game before that, I think he took 2. Like, he's not shooting high quantity from beyond the arc, and yet they keep putting him at 2.5. So who knows? Maybe tonight's the night that happens. But that's plus 145, plus 150, I believe, for D'Anthony Melton's over. I think the under was minus 190, so I didn't want to give that out. It's not really worth your time alone there with minus
a sneaky one. I think I mentioned this to you earlier this morning. If you're just worried about your money, right, as a Sixers fan, Clint Capella, 11 rebounds, plus 100 as well. So I think
the one I was looking
at 20 last game. So
the one I was looking at, because Joel, what did he have? He actually hit it last game, and he
had 13 last game.
He had issues last game. He had 26 and 13, so 39. Joel's over for points and rebounds combined is 38.5. So he hit that over by half last game, and it wasn't obviously Joel's best work. So I like that as well. But I do the Maxey lay, the plus 100 over 2.5 threes is our best bet of the night. With that said, let's get into predictions and players of the game. Scotty, who do you have tonight in order for the Sixers to come away with a win?
I said I'm going back to the well for the best bet of the night. I'm going back to the well for the player of the game, Tyrese Maxey. I'm waiting for this bounce-back game. Where else better than back in Wells Fargo Center? Get it back on track. Get going tonight. Come in with the right mindset. He finally made it public about his shooting struggles, his mindset, his approach of the last 3 games, kind of adjusting to life without James Harden. Tonight, we get that going. He puts the pressure on the Atlanta Hawk defense. Comes out hot, right? And I think also Maxey can have a better game if we also get a better approach from Joel Embiid. I think that's another strong point here. If Embiid can change his approach, he's going to get other guys shots. He needs to trust his teammates and get these guys some open looks. I think Tyrese Maxey gets back on track. All I'm asking for tonight for my player of the game, 20 points, 5 assists, 3 threes. Let's hit it. That's what I'm looking for from Maxey. Get back on the shrine, not only scoring-wise with the 20 points, but also getting that shot back under control,
Mm-hmm.
getting the 3 threes, multiple threes made in this game, I think is a big thing for Maxey and his confidence.
I like it. I'm going to go a little bit different of a route. And obviously last game I had Joel Embiid. And of course, you already just mentioned him for a second there. It all starts and ends with him, right? We know that. But it can't just take him tonight. So while he's going to need to show out tonight, it's going to need more than just him for them to beat the Hawks.
Absolutely.
I'm going to go with the one guy that has shown, even though it's not translating offensively yet, that has shown the word of the day all year long, and that is effort, and that is DeAnthony Melton. I'm going with DeAnthony Melton in the starter's role tonight, filling in for James Harden. And I don't mean this like star of the game because he's going to go out and, score 18 points and hit 4 threes. But I think that DeAnthony Melton, for some reason, that effort continues to translate. I think defensively, he's extremely active with deflections and passing lane, steals, rebounding, going the other way. And I have an odd feeling that DeAnthony Melton at least scores 14 to 16 points tonight.
I like it.
I think his number on a sports book starts at 9.5 is the lowest point total you can go. So they have him in double figures. He hasn't really been able to crack into things on that side of the floor. Yeah. I think the effort translates tonight. I don't know why, but that's my gut feeling.
The reason I like that pick, and maybe in the future we should change this to X factor of the game. You know what I mean? Just so we can, because player of the game, it could literally be Joel Embiid every single game. But DeAnthony Melton, and I think that's what I mean by Tyrese Maxey as well, is kind of an X factor tonight. DeAnthony Melton, the reason I like your pick there, especially to get a little bit higher in the point total as well, if he has Trae Young guarding him, attack him, right? You need to attack him on the offensive end. That doesn't mean bring the ball up and do ISO, right? That means get the ball down. But
to your point, DeAnthony Melton's not limited.
Attack.
He's not limited.
He's not limited. He's not. He has a very good handle, and he has a few moves in his tool bag as well. I think you need to put the pressure on Trae Young. DeJounte Murray was on Maxey most of the game last time. It's probably going to be the same thing here. He's the better defender. They're going to put Trae Young on DeAnthony Melton. You got to expose him. That is the key to beating the Hawks. Like literally exposing Trae Young. Like,
it goes to Doc. If you saw that last game and they know what the matchup is offensively versus the Hawks guards,
exactly.
Find a way to get Melton into one-on-one situations against Trae Young.
Yeah.
Use that length and that size to back him down, to get into the paint,
exactly.
Draw contact and draw fouls. And we'll see, man. So just a hunch. I think his over-under was set at 12.5. So honestly, I may go back and look to play that one as well. What do you have? I told you this on Thursday night. I thought the Sixers were going to lose Thursday because I think they will win tonight's matchup. As down and out and as bad as we feel about this team right now, I think that they find a way to win. No, I'm not stating this as their come-out game, their comeback game to get things swinging in the right direction. But I do think that they win tonight. They split with Atlanta in the home and away series right now. I'm going to go Sixers win. I do still kind of stick with our goal of last game of keeping Atlanta down around 110. They accomplished that. I think they look to do that again tonight. I'm going to go Sixers 112. They finally crack over 100. Atlanta 108. Close game.
I like it. I'm kind of on the same page as you now. Obviously, last game, I thought that was going to be the turn the page game where you get a road win in Atlanta. We saw that very early on last season, and that kind of sparked something last year, right? And they just couldn't get it done this year in Atlanta. I haven't lost full hope in this Sixers team, but at the same time, while I'm going to pick them to win this game tonight, it doesn't mean, like you said, it doesn't mean that this is like the game to spark them in the right direction. They got a really tough stretch of a schedule coming up. I would have loved for them to get that game on Thursday just so they could get a win or two in a row here. I think they get the W tonight against Atlanta. I'll go ahead and jump in front of that just because I don't want to seem like a homer. I do think they lose the game to Utah tomorrow night. Just on that back end of a back-to-back, is Joel Embiid going to play? That's a Utah team that's really young, energetic. Just seems like a team that's going to wipe the floor with the Sixers in the most annoying way possible. They're going to hit a lot of threes. That's what I'm predicting for tomorrow. But just to let you know, not picking the Sixers every single time. I do think they win tonight. They need to split this with Atlanta. Otherwise, that's a really bad look to start the season against Atlanta specifically. But yeah, I think the Sixers win. I like your score around that 112 mark. I'll kind of simplify it in a sense. I'll go 110 to 103, hold them around the same area, that 103, 104 mark. And we get up over the 100 hump and maybe even up over the 110 mark. So I'll go 110, 103, 7-point victory.
It's funny, man. You bring that up before we wrap up because, like, I kind of agree with you because who knows what they do with Joel. Conditioning-wise, his whole career, he's never really succeeded in back-to-backs. Right. Although last year they ramped it up. He played on a decent amount.
I would love for them to surprise me. I would love for them to surprise me.
You know, him coming off an illness with the conditioning issues, who knows what they try to do. I pray to God that, you know, he's not a 6 p.m. scratch tonight because of the back-to-back. And they're like, he's not playing.
I know what you mean.
We'll see, and they leave him for tomorrow. But it's Utah can't even tank correctly. Young talent, I get it, but my goodness, it's ridiculous what's happening over there. But anyway, that is going to wrap up this Sixers Hawks preview DSM pregame live. And DSM pregame live is proudly brought to you by Gents Barber Lounge. Check out one of 2 great locations in Fishtown and Old City and book your appointment today. Gents owns the craft and it shows. Rated the #1 barbershop on Yelp in the Philadelphia area, having multiple award-winning barbers and being able to handle any style of cut, adult or kid. Take a look at some of Gents' work. Check them out at www.gentsbarberlounge.com to book your appointment today. Also, guys, check out our friends at Luxon & Jewelers over at shopluxon.com. Use promo code DSM at checkout for 25% off. They also offer free shipping, as you see at the bottom of your screen right now. All caps, DSM, 25% off your total at checkout at shopluxon.com. For myself, for Scotty, for DSM Media, hit that subscribe button and enjoy the rest of your day.